Wow.
Yo, what's happening? John Fitch here, and I'm hosting Rule Zero this morning, and we're doing something I generally do not like doing, and it's talking about Hollywood douchebags. But we can learn a lot of lessons from looking at some of these guys. I was hoping that Glenn would be here because he did like some massive research on the Jason Mamoa and the Lisa Bonet divorce.
I'll drop him a note.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know much about any of these shenanigans, but I honestly couldn't find a ton about it. So I have a lot of speculation that I'm gonna say a bunch of things that I think I know, but I don't know anything. So that'll be fun. Oh, Ryan, you're muted or something. I can't hear you. That was probably the funniest thing the whole show, and we just missed it. But yeah, Lisa Bonet and Jason Mamoa. There's like a 14-year gap between the relationship. She's the older one. They met 2005. He's been obsessed with her since he was 8 years old, and she was on Different World, right? Which I get because I had a thing for Lisa.
We're going back to like 8. Is that the 1980s or 1990s?
This is in the early 90s, I think.
So he was the spin-off of the Cosby Show, wasn't it?
No, that was the 90s. That was the 80s. Yeah, late 80s.
Yeah. So he was a little kid, and he got his little boy crush on an actress in her 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It is a different world in Hollywood.
Yeah, that it is. Yeah.
No pun intended.
A little background: Jason Momoa's mother was from Iowa, and she moved to Hawaii, and she met up with a Chad in Hawaii, had a baby. Things didn't work out. She moved back to Iowa with her brown baby, and he had issues growing up with that, and he had a single mom, and always longed to go back to the island, but he wasn't really accepted either places, right? Because he was brown in Iowa, and then he was not fully Hawaiian in Hawaii. So that's just a little background of what led to him meeting her in 2005. I briefly talked with Glenn. Glenn did a lot of the research, and he said that it looked like, she was with Lenny Kravitz before. He had a kid with Lenny Kravitz. Lenny was at the peak of his stardom.
She had a child with Lenny, right?
Yeah, had one child with Lenny. She played Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny Kravitz and her kid ended up playing that Catwoman role in one of the Batmans recently.
Batman, yeah.
And then, so Lenny, of course, as the rock star he is, probably more than likely cheated on her. I think there are reports of him cheating on her, gave her some insecurities. And I think she ended up leaving him or cheating on him with Momoa in 2005 when he met her. And then they had a long relationship. They had 2 kids who are teenagers now. They got married late in their relationship in 2017, and then they split around 2020, and they just recently announced the final divorce or something. I think that's the major background of everything that happened there. So
that sounds like hell.
Sounds like life.
Well, no. It's like middle school never ended for these people. But then you give them, like, the kids get whiskey and car keys. It's the same thing. You got a middle school mentality, but instead of whiskey and car keys, it's like, hey, here's a marriage license with all the fucking bullshit. That sounds like hell.
There's a Kanye West quote where he said, Kanye West is probably bipolar, but he said something really lucid once, and he said that once you become famous, you stop self-improving because there's so many yes people around you. That's probably what happened. Like, no one was gonna tell Jason Momoa, hey, don't do these things. Like, think about it. This is not, you're Jason Momoa. No one probably.
So you're saying he didn't have a dad?
He was coming up, and he was like, hey, I got it, man. I'm big time now. I've got Lisa Bonet, talking to me. And yeah, I think that's a part of it. I don't think, he didn't have his dad around to smack the shit out of him and tell him no. And I don't think he probably had any really close friends, because from what I could read from his background, and this is all like tabloid garbage, so this could be just completely way off, but it didn't sound like he had a lot of close friends because he wasn't really accepted in Iowa. He was an outcast skater kid, And then when he went back to Hawaii, he wasn't really accepted there either. He was also like kind of scrawny. Like he wasn't always a big, huge, like muscle guy.
That makes sense. I mean, first off, being the half brown guy in my small town, it was like that too. They kept sitting me at the table with all the East Indians, and I got so mad back in the day.
I didn't know you did IT.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Can I
it's
get really
elementary school.
shitty customer service?
Yeah. But no, my brother.
I didn't know you had a Manosphere brand.
Yeah, my brother too. Huge fat kid growing up, and then he just thinned out, leaned out, got jacked. Most guys, I don't think people understand. Most guys are ugly ducklings. Like there's very few guys that have been attractive since they were 13.
But would Jason Mamoa have become Jason Momoa without the hardship? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's he now. Admittedly, huge disadvantage not having a dad around, but being picked on and all that other stuff or not fitting in. He somehow channeled that into becoming an incredibly jacked, good-looking, actor. It's just, I guess, his priorities were all wrong. He had no guidance.
He did, and have you guys heard any of the interviews between him, Lisa Bonet, in years past and then recently? I mean, he really looked at her. He infatuated himself with her at such a young age, and then later, when you hear some of the interviews, she's definitely playing mommy. And her coming from an acting career definitely is driving that guy.
That's kind of the take I got from it was that he was, mama's boy raised by a single mom, and then he was the nice guy looking for another mommy. But from what that's why I wish Glenn would have showed up, because he was saying that her insecurities from the Lenny Kravitz experience. I'm glad you got that, Ryan.
Fuck the cab driver.
Messed with her, gave her a lot of insecurities, and then when Momoa became famous, like he's getting a lot of attention from girls, and then it's possible that he was cheating also.
Yeah. Well, isn't he filing the one that's filed for divorce on this case?
I don't know. I thought it was her. I thought she had filed.
I'm not sure.
I mentioned to my girl, and she said, "Is this happening again?" Because apparently this isn't their first time either.
Right.
Well, they've been separated for a while.
Yeah, maybe he did the separation, and then she's doing the divorce. I
just don't get it. He had a 6-pack and he has money. I'm told that's what solves all these problems. I didn't realize there might be deeper concerns than abs and money in life. That's what gets me.
Poon. It's called poon.
Yeah, poon. You know what gets me on these? I love it. I love it for the sake that it's just one more statistic. Like, hey, there's another guy who's got mommy issues and all the money in the world and all the fame and being 6'5" or whatever tall he is. None of that helped. So we could, and to be fair, we used to do. Remember, John, how many like Looks Money Game episodes we'd have to the point we were almost like a satire of the Looks Money Game episode.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like this would totally fit into one of those perfectly. He did everything. Yeah. He was fast and furious, except for with his whamming.
He had,
we're all looking at
hair. He had muscles. He had money. He had fame, but he still couldn't keep the chick.
Well, how much of this is also, I know we're looking at Momoa, like, okay, background and all that. How mercenary and sniper rifle-ish is this Lisa Bonet or Bonet? I don't know which one. What are you doing being 16 years old? Or is it just like a fuck trophy? Like, oh, haha, I got the newest guy in Hollywood? Where, in other words, where was the adult, mature, responsible behavior? I know that's asking a lot of a Hollywood actress to say, this kid had a crush on me since he was 8. And I was 22, 23 or whatever at the time. Like, maybe I should say, look, you should go find someone younger. What am I being too idealistic?
Well, it plays into the idea that she was, alpha widowed in a sense. She had the Lenny Kravitz experience, and then she was like, I don't want to have to deal with that type of stuff again. And then this guy's love bombing her and like treating her in a way that's, more beta tells than alpha tells. And so she's like, you know what, maybe I will be in the more secure relationship. But then he blows up, and now he packs on a bunch of muscle, and then now she's right back into, she's having Lenny Kravitz flashbacks.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
What are we to draw from this for the average American male? Like, because
just because you're handsome and just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean that all the women are just going to stay with you.
You know what? That's a good one, John. Yeah. No, I've actually brought this up. My very first speech that shall not be mentioned from Florida, blah, blah, blah. There was the two types of guys I noticed in the Red Pill that were doing this. There was the Chads, and I called them Billy and Chad. Chad was the one who was always good with women, and he's always aloof, right? So if a girl wasn't acting right, he would ditch her and start another one. He never had to learn. And then once you're married, you have kids, you can't just walk away like you could in high school or in college or whatever. And so they end up falling down to their training, which is usually to have a temper tantrum, get mad, maybe abuse. In horrible cases, you get those murder-suicides. And then you get the guys who've never had any girls and were the ugly ducklings. And then they grew up never learning any of these skills. So when the girl has her post-nut clarity, you know, the baby come out after her 30th birthday, they both end up in the same position where they just don't know how to deal with a girl. Personally, I find it to be, and I know this is going to be a weird way to say it, it's almost like a heartwarming feeling to know that no matter what kind of guy you are, your abs, your six-pack, or your Matt Walsh saving the best, you're going to end up in that same place either with a girl that you can't just walk away from because you love your kids and your house and your money. And so you better learn to deal with this stuff.
Yep.
It's
which is
macabre,
hilarious now
correct,
because who's like if Jason Mamoa is the Chad, who would be the Billy in that case? Who's the divorced guy that everybody thinks is a giant nerd? It's got to be.
I want to say
Rob
Ezra
Schneider?
Miller, but Ezra Miller is even weirder than that. So that
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Legal relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't want to get into that thing.
Yeah.
In Hollywood? I don't know, Ryan. Wait, what's
If he
his
had just
name?
done
You're
this,
asking a
Ezra
lot.
could have won the girls back.
No, fuck. What's his
Yeah.
name? What's his name?
Bill
come on.
Gates.
Alec
I'm just saying
Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin went through a horrible divorce.
Yeah, but he's Chad too, though, right? Like Alex was
Yeah.
a smoke show.
Yeah.
Like,
Who
I'd
you
say this
say-
as a straight man.
You're saying who's Billy, the nerdy guy?
Yeah, the one who's like saving the best, winning the prize at the end, 30 years old, never had a girl, finally
Seth
gets selected in the
Rogen?
first one. Ooh, Rogan might be a good call, actually.
Seth Rogen. Well, who's,
Oh, I thought
who's
you
the
meant
one
Joe
guy? Jonah Hill.
We have the guy.
Jonah Hill, yeah.
The guy who played the Green Ranger, the original Green Ranger from Power Rangers.
Oh,
What's his
yeah,
name?
he
Something
died.
Frank. Yeah, he ended his life, which is sad.
Oh,
What was
geez.
his name? Something Frank.
I
It's
know,
always gonna be the
I
Green
know
Ranger to me.
who you mean.
Yeah, he the nerd community really took it hard when he passed because he was very loved and he was a Chad because he was the Green Ranger. He came in and beat up all the Power Rangers and they kept using his character throughout like for decades because he was just so loved. David Frank, yeah, there you go.
Huh.
And then I think his wife divorced him or cheated on him or something, and then he ended up taking his own life. And that's just like, dude, you're a Chad. You're the one of the most loved characters and people in the nerd community. If whatever Comic-Con you go to, you'll be flocked by beautiful women, and wherever you go, like you're a legend. But you took your life because your girl didn't want you. I think a lot of guys don't understand, like when celebrities they live in their own bubble and they don't really. I don't know. It's just so weird, right?
Well, it's almost
It's
like
really
that
sad
they're
and
picking
weird.
these metrics for success that don't actually exist. I don't get it. You had six-pack abs. How would you have problems in life? It's like, dude, because I didn't listen to that grifter telling me that would solve all my problems for $49.95.
Yeah.
I think that's a focus.
Nothing prepares you for mental issues.
Yeah.
I think that's a focus of a problem of today is because everybody's validation comes externally. So it's like, how
Right.
tall are you? How much money do you have? What kind of job do you have? What's your title? What kind of car do you drive? You got that Gucci belt. Like that's where people put their validation and their value rather than internally validating themselves and have internal value.
And then
Look
they,
at Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Brady's the same.
and then they get into an
Oh,
argument
makes
and
it
because
super
of their own mental incapacity to think further ahead than the materialism or the physical accomplishments. They don't know what to do.
John, you're right on the money because I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it too with your consults and all that, but the guys that can self-validate for themselves, they don't seem to have these problems so much. They get past them much easier. The guys that are looking for that external validation from their women and all that stuff, man, they get in their own bubble and they tend to get so depressed when it goes south that we're faced with guys zeroing themselves out.
Well, I came up with a list here that would kind of pin. Well, I searched a list of self-deletion of Hollywood actors. And I think here's a pretty good place to start. But the foremost one would be Anthony Bourdain.
Yep.
where
Oh,
there you
yeah.
were, you know, you had everything, and then you essentially marry a harlot, a 23-year-old harlot, and you're like, oh my God, can you imagine that she's being a harlot? And then, but I'd be curious about Anthony Bourdain's background. Like, how are you that lacking of street smartness to think that this was a good idea?
There's a conspiracy theory tied to Bourdain, though, too.
John, one day we're going to do a show about the Cobain one.
But he, rumor has it, he had spilled some beans about the Clintons.
Oh,
I'll just say this about Cobain and Bourdain, you know.
These Clintons are deadlier than COVID, man.
He had said something foul about the Clintons, and then he ended up getting suicided. So there's that. And then looking at Hollywood actors too, I think you got to put a little salt on that and remember that that's just a weird world, weird environment, because you got to do a lot of weird things just to get on screen in the first place.
Yeah.
And whatever you did to get on screen in the first place, maybe the thing you really ended up deleting yourself for.
What was Lisa Bonet a director? Just asking. Like, was she a producer?
No, actually, he written, directed, and produced like a movie or something. Paloma, whatever. Road to Paloma, something like that, where he wrote her in so they could like do something together, and he talked her into acting again because she lived a private life, she'd made her money, and she didn't really want to do it, and he talked her into doing that and co-starring with him.
Yeah, because that was his first mistake, telling a woman what to do.
Otherwise, Ryan, what's his name? The guy who always posts the teachers.
Oh, Servy. Yeah, Frank Servy.
Yeah, otherwise he could have made a post about that, like Jason Mamoa when he was 16, and then her as some actress, like, hey, you want this role, kid? Boy.
Oh, that's funny. Like a female Weinstein.
Harry Weinstein, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a female Weinstein. I think we're on to something here.
Do you guys feel like that actors, famous athletes, just famous people in general, end up going crazy or self-deleting disproportionately than average men, like percentage wise?
Yeah.
That's possible.
Like, do you think it's like an
there's from personal experience, there's a roller coaster ride through your career in a fighting career. Like you're getting prepared for the fight, you're up on top, you know, you win a fight, like everything's up here, you got paid, and then right after that, whoosh, down because you disappear until the next fight cycle. And then once the fight cycles are over with, like there's no more, you're never getting that, you know, to get up to that next peak again. Like I'm never going to get probably to that peak where I was with George St. Pierre or Eric Silva or winning my title or beating Jake Shields New Year's night on, defending my title in Madison Square Garden. Like that's a hard thing to outwardly experience the second time and to chase that. It's like you're chasing the dragon. You're a crack addict at that point. You got to realize that you got to get your satisfaction. You got to get those feelings somewhere else rather than externally. But some guys I don't think can ever turn it off, and they just keep chasing it. And in the fight world, those are the guys that keep fighting into their late 40s, and then they're brain damaged, and then they have some kind of crazy fallout and end up in prison or dead or whatever.
But Fitch,
I feel like the Kardashians are doing it too. Like there's certain Kardashian sisters that like they just hop from the next hot celebrity, have a kid with them, date them, destroy their mind, and then they go to the next one. I think it's just the same thing. They're constantly trying to chase that validation dragon.
Could it also be? Well, I know it is
validation dragon. Ooh, I like that.
You think about Hollywood or even Fitch with you fighting. You're on a stage, and all the resources, all the environment, all the stuff that goes into having a fight or producing a movie or whatever else. You have no frame. You are an actor. You are to fit into this role both on and off stage. And so there's all this expectations. You're also surrounded. You're in an echo chamber of mentally ill people in Hollywood. And so you're not even your own person. You're kind of a national asset or a national treasure, which sounds good, but there's no you. You must act and obey this way. And then you kind of lose yourself. And then people are like, well, why did Jason Momoa, why did Anthony Bourdain, why? It's like, they don't even know who they are. they're constantly reacting to their environment and not saying, drawing a line in the sand saying, no, here's who I am. Like, I don't know a lot about Hollywood gossip, but Robert De Niro is kind of one of those actors where he doesn't do a lot of interviews because he has his own life and he doesn't like them. Whereas I think everyone else has to go on the Jimmy Kimmel show and constantly be acting constantly. So I don't know how many actors where they could actually separate the real lives from the fake one and actually derive value from other sources of purpose and meaning, like a family or something. But yeah, it's shock. The nerdy boy of a single mom and a deadbeat dad who had a crush who got jacked, had no bearing or anchoring in the world outside of Hollywood, ends up having issues romantically. I think it's another thing that regular non-Hollywood people need to realize. Like, those people are just fucked up because of their environment.
You know who I really like?
Friends.
Who I think has his stuff squared away pretty well? Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
He married a
and Leo.
And like he keeps a little private life. He has a farm. He gets away from Hollywood. I think he keeps a completely separate life. He has a separate set of values that's away from Hollywood. I think he does a good job.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman does that too.
And Nuke, you're right. Like, how many of these people have friends? Like, real friends?
Yeah, like regular friends.
Yeah, like who's telling Kanye? Who's telling Kanye not to do the things he's doing?
The chosen people.
Even Dave Chappelle wasn't. I was like, dude, of all the people that could talk somebody off the ledge, Dave Chappelle would be the guy to have in your corner, and he didn't even do it.
Yeah. If I were famous, I'd probably be friends with Dave Chappelle because he'd be my doomsayer. He'd be like, he'd make fun of me in a funny way, but like he'd be my doomsayer. And I'm like, none of these celebrities have. I think there's Chris Pratt, but maybe that's because he's religious, right? He goes to church. He probably has a pastor that tells him, hey man, like, be careful out there.
Yeah, I don't think Jason Mamoa gotten criticism for being Christian, and he raises lambs and slaughters them. He got a bunch of heat from people for that too.
Yeah, Johnny Depp
who's
to the countryside. He's kind of done with it all. He went back to playing guitar and playing in bands.
Who's that?
He figured it out.
Who's that, Jack?
He figured it out.
Who are we talking about?
Johnny Depp. He kind of quit Hollywood. And
he was kind of forced to for a little while.
Yeah.
He was forced to for a little while.
Went back to playing guitar. Hollywood Vampires, I believe it's called, or Undead Vampires. What is that band called?
Also I would have in my corner if I were famous, Denzel Washington. I'd be like, I'd have Denzel. Yeah, Denzel or Ryan Gosling. He figured it out. He took Eva Mendes from catty, bossy career woman to mother of his kids and out of the limelight. So he probably knows what he's doing too. So
yeah.
Oh, I like Clary's. Remember, Clary, your episode you did on All This Is BS about Matt Walsh doesn't believe what he was thinking and
correct
couldn't even find the thing. I honestly think there's a lot of that here too, because like, how much do you know about Tom Cruise? You know what he lets you know.
Right.
You don't know almost anything secret about him. And I have a hard time believing that a lot of these celebrities, especially after you're making 10 million a film, don't have that same level of PR teams behind them. So part of me always wonders too, with the Lisa Bonet and thing, like, why do they want me to know that? Why did they decide to make that public? Why did they not try to hide it? Why is it coming out now? Is there a movie coming out? It's like every time Ryan Reynolds gets into shit, I'm like, oh, is Aviation Gin having a sale?
Right.
Well, Aquaman just came out 2 weeks ago.
That's it.
But so that's a big reason why I probably got no story broke right now. Anyways, like, hey guys, if people are gonna find out you're divorced anyways, so why don't we just put this in the news cycle?
I guarantee you, the market is that efficient that there are marketing people who. Well, I mean, bad news is good news. Like the
all news.
At least you're talking about them, right?
Yeah. I mean, the best thing that ever happened in my career was when the world shat its communal pants because I wrote an article that I'm not going to see Mad Max because of its feminist undertones, and that increased my profile by 20% in 1 week. And so I know now that was accidental. Everyone hated my guts, but thank you very much for doing that. The Mary Sue, I cannot thank you enough for helping me in my career. But I absolutely guarantee you, how do we spin this? How do we get PR? How do we get eyes on the screen? Absolutely, there's a profit motive behind there.
Yeah, Amber Heard's working again, by the way. I think she just got a role.
No way.
Yeah.
Only fans?
Yeah, a roll is a roll. I don't know. She'd probably Yeah, she'd probably be the #1 creator on OnlyFans for like a month if she just started
I
to show her
thought she
box.
moved to Spain.
You can work in Spain.
Well, she got a role. Like maybe it was
you
like
know
it's
why
not a
white
huge
kids
role.
go to
but-
Spain, Jack.
Alejandro.
but
Antonio.
yeah, I think like honestly, it's always interesting to see like the divide of how big like we have Leo who's just cycling through models. We have Ryan Gosling who he took Eva Mendes and made her his wife, and she's done with acting. Like she's done. We have Denzel Washington, one of the greatest actors of all time. His wife is like a mid-looking chick who's super loyal to him. Like, and then you see like the Kanye West, the Jason Mamoas, the guys that are just like apparently the top athletes, and the top actors in the world, and they're just getting their minds destroyed by women. Like, and then you have like LeBron James, where LeBron James' wife won't take pictures with men. Only LeBron. At least that's what she said.
What about Pierce Brosnan?
I was going to bring that up. Yep.
Everybody always.
No, yeah.
Wife.
No,
everybody always.
Oh my God, there's so many good memes.
But I mean, they seem happy.
The Architect.
They do seem happy. I can't hate on Pierce Brosnan at all.
Nope.
Wow. I mean, they've been together for how long?
He's got the wife goggles. Like,
30
good for
years,
him,
or
man.
20 years at least. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then we have
Jack is the
Keanu.
same.
That's
30-year
another one.
plus marriage. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good woman.
Keanu is a different story.
But that's like
Keanu's a sad man.
But that's like that
He's a
Tate
sad guy.
level of red pill.
Somebody
that
said
red pill
he's
everybody
a,
shits on though.
An empathy vampire.
Oh,
He might
What
be
is
an
that?
empathy vampire just because the way his whole life has gone. It's just one big tragedy.
yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe she wanted to heal the puppy or something.
Oh, the I can
Yeah.
save him chicks. Don't they usually end up with like drug dealers though?
I mean, who knows? Keanu maybe is a drug dealer too, giving her something.
He's been taking that Matrix money, turning it into a Scarface empire.
He's pretty good with that gun.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
Just this for Robin Williams.
Oh,
Sad, but you know,
Zero.
he went through two divorces, and
Yeah.
that's why he had to keep on working.
There's a conspiracy theory around that too.
Okay, Fitch. There's always conspiracy theories with you, and the only
Robot
one,
dogs, robot
the
dogs.
only one that proves correct is your robot dogs one. You know, the most outlandish one turns out to be true.
Oh, what's the guy that came back that used to be Tarzan?
Oh, Brendan
He was
Fraser.
in The Mummy.
Oh, Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser.
he's the saddest. He is the saddest because he's like the most beloved celebrity of all time. And then he had that divorce where he had to pay like millions of dollars to his ex-wife for like 20 years or something.
Oh, David
or
Foley
something.
has that same example.
it was
dude.
George
Yeah.
of the
Not allowed in
Jungle,
Canada
by
anymore.
the way, not Tarzan.
Oh shit, George of the Jungle. Sure, you know he's Tarzan to me.
The
Yeah,
Mummy.
but
The Mummy returned.
the Mummy. Yeah,
The
the
Mummy
Mummy was his
returned.
and Mummy's still
Encino
good. Like, if you watch
Man.
the Mummy. Yeah. And he comes back and he's fat. You know, he does that movie about being fat or whatever,
Whale.
and everyone loves him. And and he's like everyone's clapping for him. He's been on like I used to see him on 4chan Fit board. Like, how can we save him for like a decade? I used to go to the Fit board on 4chan because people really love this guy. And then he came back, and I mean, he's not a Chad anymore. But it's just like it's like we see these celebrities that have it all, and they're just like the most handsome men that ever lived, I guess. But one woman, and they're gone forever. Like they're never coming back. They don't bounce back. They end up becoming shells of themselves and all that stuff. And I think that's the cautionary tale, you know?
Oh yeah. Plus, with him too, didn't his acting career beat up his body? Like his knees are shot, his ankles are shot. I think a lot
Oh, I
of
didn't
people
know
forget
about
about
that,
that too. Like the super Chad athletic types, like punch drunk boxers. John was just telling about UFC fighters. Like I don't know what Chuck Liddell is up to now, but I'm pretty sure he's not.
Oh,
bending down to pick up his
he's got a
kids.
story we could talk about.
Oh,
He got divorced from his wife. She was abusing him. She was physically
how do you
abusing
abuse
him.
Chuck Liddell? Jesus.
I got a conspiracy theory about that.
But no,
It's all conspiracy
She
theory.
was
That's
getting
just
lessons from Hillary Clinton.
robot dogs and Hillary Clinton.
Every
Yeah.
damn time. You gotta love it.
Jeez.
So I'm going through this
Ro-
self-deletion list, and it's
Oh,
a different
geez.
culture. No, it's actually kind of fascinating because I'm not dead, so it's fascinating to me anyway. But
I got to run, by the way, guys.
all
It's
right,
nice
see you,
meeting
Jack.
All right,
Have fun,
Jack.
Jack.
Bye, Jack.
And I guess we need someone from Asian culture, but the amount of really good-looking pop teen celebrity heartthrobs over there. It is shocking how many, like half the list is South Korean and Japanese. And you look at these people and you're like, God almighty, that's a really good looking dude. You know, I could see where the girls, and oh no, they decided to end it. So I'm wondering how much of this is just the human mind is not geared for celebrityship in any kind of capacity.
I could see that because I know South Korea with the BTS and that, they actually have like, it's like an industry. You will be here. You got to hide your relationships. It's like an episode of, what's that stupid show where they do karaoke for money? American Idol.
Idol.
Yeah, it's like that, but like serious business. Add that with like a mafia level of like work ethic.
What's BTS?
Like that's like the South Korean pop band BTS. I don't know what it stands for.
Okay.
They're basically like NSYNC if they were South Korean twinks, but like 100 times more popular. You thought Taylor Swift bands were crazy? Wait till you see some BTS stands.
Well, then I don't know much about Asian or Eastern culture, but are their lives even more controlled? Like they have a PR agent that like, you must be here at this. Is it okay?
I would say handler, not so much PR agent, because the PR agent you have control over. The handler basically handles you, or they boot your ass out of the club.
Nuke, you're a nerd. You got your waifus and your anime pillows that you sleep with. You tell us about Asian culture.
All I've heard is that there's a lot of the Yakuza influence too and stuff. People tend to become products there, and especially
you get the game mafia in Hollywood too.
Yeah, the adult industry also is very controlled by the Yakuza. But those are conspiracies.
I mean, that's where we are in the world right now. Everything is controlled by some organized gang, basically. Some type of what do you call it? A cabal. You just saw the Cat Williams? You guys watched the Cat Williams interview? He's talking about there's a cabal of black comedians, even. Right? There's always some people at the top who are like pulling the strings.
The kings of comedy. Steve Harvey is the leader.
So it's a big part of human nature. I mean, if you're taking money from any source, you're the servant. That's just what it is, you know. All the bosses. So humans are always trying to position themselves so they can pay for services, goods, needs, and control those goods and needs. So I think it goes hand in hand with fame.
Yeah, and Thor, how is that any different than you have a boss? Oh, it's a conspiracy to have me show up to work and do spreadsheets. It's the same thing.
It's the same
thing. Different level. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'm just wondering because
there's one thing. There's a difference between having a boss and somebody who's controlling a market.
Is it?
Bill Gates is a boss.
Because we're supposed to operate in a free market.
Oh, that. Well, good
yeah,
luck with that.
So if you're not able to actually compete and operate in that free market because there's people controlling the market, that's a problem. But yeah, if you have a boss for a company in a market, I think that's a vast difference.
Right. But the free market's always been attempted to be controlled from the time it existed.
Yes.
Real free market's never been tried.
Yeah.
Maybe when we had shekels and we're trading, clams for clams or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but there's a difference between a boss where you show up for whatever your factory shift and you go home at 5 versus the boss like, what are you doing? I mean, this even happened to me one time when I was applying for a job in banking. They're like, well, what kind of extracurricular activities are you going to do? I thought it was an odd question. I'm like, well, I'm going to probably teach some dance classes and I don't know, go hiking. Like, well, we'd have to approve that. And I'm like, what is this? What was the firm? Is this the firm? Am I Tom Cruise? What the hell? Wait, it was a small town and they're worried that I was going to ruin their reputation. I'm like, get out of here with this shit.
You know what else is like when you're going into the military and doing your first couple technical schools, they really control you too. Like when I was going through nuke school, we had to be home by 11 or 12 a.m. every night. That we would have people check on us every night.
That's because you're 18-year-old enlisted dipshits. That's why I get.
Well, what's the difference between actors? What's the difference between actors?
Because you have a good reason for it is the only difference. Yeah. No, military, same thing. You couldn't leave your first 6 weeks of basic training. It's the human condition. There's always somebody trying to tell you what to do. And I love the whole idea of the free market libertarianism. But let's face it, it's really about how close can you get to there because you're never going to make it.
Right.
Sarah, who's running YouTube now? Vivek or whatever, or is he the one running for president? Who's the YouTube?
That's the one running.
Vivek is running for president.
There's some Indian person,
another Indian guy.
Patel, whatever. The point is, he like could tell us, like, you guys want your YouTube career, you better, whatever version of Casting Couch they have, and we have to do it, or we nuke our channels.
And they do.
Yeah, and they do it all the
Well,
time.
you
Don't
you
talk
gotta
about
do what you
pedos
gotta
and
do.
Democrats in this election year,
Yeah,
or you're nuked.
Yeah, Casting Couch, you gotta do what you gotta do. Hey,
That's why guys
how bad do you want
Yeah,
it?
and that's why guys like Tate and these celebrities are so popular. It's like, wow, nobody can tell him what to do. Well, they technically did.
Yeah.
Multiple
33 cars couldn't get
governments.
away. Tell me more about freedom.
Yeah. I believe also that we should start treating actors or seeing them as weird theater kids. Like, you guys remember the weird theater kids? They were they all fucked each other.
Well, there was a
and,
time.
they
There
were
was a
just-
time way back when like actors and actresses, they weren't to be taken seriously. They were a joke,
right.
right?
Oh, yeah,
I remember COVID when they did the whole video
Imagine.
during COVID.
Oh, the John
Yeah,
Lennon thing?
and yeah, how cringe was that?
Thor,
That
you're,
was-
you're the only one old enough here to remember. Do you remember I never watched it, but do you remember the TV show Fame?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm
God,
gonna
it's-
live forever.
I'm gonna live.
That yes, we are aware of the theater kids. Snoop.
It
We
was
are
on
very
just
aware.
before V. That's why I ended up watching as much of it as I did.
But I did hear a bit of wisdom
How great
some
was V?
couple
Yeah.
years ago about the human condition, and it came from an extremely unlikely source. Somehow, I was listening to something on YouTube, and an interview came up of a famous porn star that made millions of dollars. Her name's Riley Reid. I'm sure everybody hears of it, right? And she had some of the most supreme wisdom I've ever heard in my life. The interviewer was asking her about, the difficulties of being a porn star and then being successful afterwards and all this. And she just sat there and she said, well, sometimes you just have to suck a dick you don't really want to suck and get the job done.
Dude,
It explains it all.
I actually kind of like her more now. Nailing the landing, the whole thing.
Holy
but, like,
shit.
Isn't that what married Christian women do? That's like they're the same as
Riley Reid and
Riley
married Chris Christian, same damn thing.
dude, they
She
would
took
rather
the
ruin the
playbook from
American
them.
economy than fuck their husbands. It's an amazing amount of like gumption that they
Well,
got.
there's another correlation there between the actors and a porn star. But over here in Vegas, there's a judge, and she was a former stripper. And you take 100 strippers, 98% are on drugs, and they're going to throw their life away, even if they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. But there's that 2% that kind of like actors who know to separate life from their job, where no, I'm saving my money, I'm buying rental property, I'm going to law school or something like that. So I think there's, but 2%, it's an exceptionally rare person that has that intellectual strength or independent thought to do that. Everyone else seems to just fall into the mold of whatever environment or career profession they have.
Yeah, and that's every career. Like, how many people are still, I don't know if you guys, when was the last time you worked in an office, but you notice there's that guy that's been there for 15 years, doesn't really do anything, but they can't get rid of him, or they don't want to, or it's too expensive to. There's guys in everything. Pick any profession. There's YouTube.
Yeah.
There's people on, there's Adosa Buckley, and I'm not shitting on the guy because I like him. He's kind of like the Canadian Aaron Clary. He's been doing this for like 12 years. He's just kind of been plodding along, doing decent work. Never been huge, never been a failure. And that's fine if that's your goal. But yeah, I think everybody wants to be this, what do they call them? Temporarily disenfranchised millionaires? Isn't that the American dream? That nobody in America is poor, but you're disenfranchised or temporarily disenfranchised millionaires.
Yeah, you deserve the money.
Ryan,
but
could
nobody
you
wants to
lower
do
your IQ by like 10 points for the rest of us? What do you mean
No.
a disenfranchised, desirous millionaire? What?
I can't remember who said it, who I got the quote from, but it was the idea that there's no poor Americans and they hate looking out for the poor because everybody thinks of themselves as a millionaire. That's just that one breakaway.
Oh,
from
yeah.
making it.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it's not a
yeah.
real thing. It's a cope against, like, how do you maximize your life? Like, how do you get what you're going to get? No, I have to be Jason Mamoa, and next year is my time to shine.
Isn't that all influencers on the internet pretty much now?
Well, no, now, yeah, but that's the point. That's the market that they're appealing to. And that's kind of where this whole Lisa Bonet thing is going. Everybody's like, dude, 6-pack abs, 6 feet tall, chiseled jaw. Well, he had that. He's with a girl 10 years his older because he had a high school crush on it, and she ran roughshod over his career, took all that Fast and Furious money and fucking rolled with it. Thanks, Aquaman. I'll see you next time.
Aquaman.
Yeah, it doesn't
Well, that's the
really
thing,
matter
though.
how
I don't
jacked
know.
you
I don't
are.
know if she's taking a lot of money from them. because from what I read, there's not going to be any alimony and there's not going to be any child support, and they're going to split.
He doesn't even have a house. Like,
Yeah, he's been living in a
Jason Momoa doesn't have
van. He lives in a $75,000 Sprinter.
Wait, is he smart enough to do the shit
Mercedes.
like that Brazilian? Who was that guy? You remember the one, the Brazilian soccer player that gave his mom all his money?
Yeah,
Like,
I
trust
remember
fund,
that.
so now she can't take anything in divorce.
Yeah.
Dude, if
So
guys,
yeah, I don't know. Like
awesome.
it seemed like the divorce was kind of amicable. Like it didn't seem like they're spitting any venom. And
took one day. They just went.
Lenny,
They said,
Lenny and Jason are like good buddies, like they're friends.
Wait, really? Eskimo brothers?
Yeah,
That's
like-
awesome.
They say they call it one family, whatever. They all went out. He took Jason Momoa took his kids out to see Lenny's daughter when her film debuted, whatever. So I don't see a lot of like venom in the situations at all. But the relationship just didn't work out. And that's the thing too to look at. You know, how bad did he lose? Did he lose out because he still got his money, he still got his career, and he's got 2 kids?
I think
He's in a
women
good
will forgive him,
position.
yeah.
Like his life isn't like, oh man, he got rugged and his life's fucking over, man. Oh, did you see how bad Momoa got fucked up by Lisa Bonet? No, like he's still in a good spot. So now he puts grandma out to pasture, and now he's single. He's still got his money, got his career, got his kids, and like there's no pressure on him to like rush into another relationship.
It's got that Bruce Willis, Demi Moore vibe, kind of.
yeah.
So,
I think
hey
I
guys,
think right
I
now.
gotta
Oh,
go
good.
pick up Paul and do a
Okay.
non-homosexual hike in the desert.
Sure.
Okay, just
Sure, yeah, sure.
Fields
Okay.
exist.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
hey, and you guys want to go hiking with me by yourself? Come out to the desert, huh? No.
I gotta get a gun first.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys later. All right.
See you, buddy.
Thanks.
I got a
I
fun
think-
little exercise for you guys. So in your personal experience, let's go around the horn. Guys, do you think that having an occupation affects the divorce rates, such as being an actor, entertainer? Would it be higher than the normal average? Just off the top of your head, John, do you
What was
think
that?
it'd be worth more? I mean,
What's that question again?
would an entertainer actor have higher divorce rates per thousand than just your average Joe?
I would.
Because of the fee.
You assume so because it's always in your face because of the every time you go to the store, it's on the aisles of the checkouts. So and so's
Yeah.
getting divorced. Now it's always somebody getting divorced in your feed. But I don't know if it's more or less. I'm not sure. Like
That's
I feel
interesting.
like moving out to California, it's way higher than it was in Indiana. But I haven't been in Indiana in over 20 years, so it may be just parallel the same exact thing.
Yeah. So I had done some research for one of my dragon ships, and I pulled up the U.S. divorce rate by occupation, which is done by the American Community Survey for a period of 5 years. This is per every 1,000 divorces. This is by occupation. We'll start with number one. The number one
It's got to be
job.
Military.
Yeah, military or cop.
The number one that had the most divorce rates at 43 per thousand was dancers.
Wow.
The second one at 38.4 is
What kind
bartenders.
of dancers?
Britney Spears' husband, ex or baby daddy.
Okay.
The next one down is massage therapist at 38.2 per thousand. You think?
Dude,
These
the
are all porn
military can't
scenarios.
The
Wow.
military can't do
Yeah.
anything right lately. We can't even crush the divorce rate. What the hell?
Yeah, or the
then-
alcoholism rate.
Then you have gaming cage workers in Las Vegas, gaming service workers in any gambling area. Then it goes down to food machine operators. Then it's telemarketing operators. Then it's textile machine operators. Then it's nurses at 28.9. That's no surprise. Then home care aides, pretty much nurses again at the same rate. And then at the bottom is entertainers at 28.4. But that's not the lowest. That's not the lowest. If you go further down and you look at the lowest ones, you get dentist at 7.75 per thousand, farmers at 7.63, podiatrist at 6.81, clergy at 5.6, optometrists at 4.0, and at the very bottom was agricultural engineers at 1.78 per thousand over a course of 5 years.
Is that
Farmers.
a euphemism for like picking strawberries all day?
Yeah, I
I'm an
guess.
agricultural engineer.
I guess so. I just thought that was kind of entertaining.
That is a wild.
Yeah.
list of- I would like those top ones. I would never even.
I'll
put 'em on
drop
a
the
list.
link. I'll drop the link for you guys.
Who said this one? He nailed it flat out. The revenge fantasy.
Yeah. People getting mad about.
Well, that's the issue, right? They always think it's as long as that bitch who looks like my ex-wife or the bitch who looks like that girl that turned me down gets her comeuppance. It's that just world fallacy. It's the same as like these billionaires. I bet you they're miserable. In reality, Bill Gates is only just sad he lost his island trips. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, I bet you fear of missing out even is a factor with these famous people. It's such a huge factor anecdotally with so many women that I've known throughout my life, but I see a lot of commonality, even with the famous people. You would think they're missing out of nothing, but it seems to me that fear of missing out is ever present, even with them, maybe even more.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Because what does Rolo always say? That we're never happy. As soon as we get happy, we become unhappy about our new situation. That's the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. I made $1 billion doing the Fast and Furious franchise. Now what? It's like Neil Armstrong. Went to the moon, came home. The fuck else he gonna do with his life now? I've been to the moon, bitch. All I got now is an alcohol problem, and like I can flex at any dinner party. Oh, what did you
Mars
do?
is
I got
never going to
promoted at
happen.
work. What did you
Mars
do?
is never going to happen.
Yeah, until somebody goes to Mars, Neil Armstrong gets to be fucking complaining that there's nowhere else to go. The pinnacle of human achievement. Now what?
I know. And what are we? Influencers. Great.
Dude, if I influence everybody. Apparently, I can only influence people to rate me as not fuckable. So whatever.
You're looking at
A bunch of dudes rated you as not.
Yeah, dudes.
Yeah,
dudes.
What's the point of that fucking survey? Like, what is he trying to take down? Is he like Destiny? Is he trying to take down the red pill or something? Like what?
We had a guy, Gay Lou Boyle, did that same thing. It was always about like he was just constantly asking us to post naked photos of ourselves to prove we're in shape or some shit like that. It's if you have no talent, gossip and flexing is all you got.
Yeah, he's trying to get engagement from other people's work.
And then when you lose,
call for receipts, right? Now, but yeah.
And then when you lose, call for receipts.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want anywhere near that other than this, because Gay Lou Boyle, when he was the guy doing that, he would just splash like 1940s Germany memes all over your stuff. You would have an
Oh, your mic's cutting out, Ryan.
Uh-oh.
We lost you.
So I don't know what this am I back yet?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what's in store for this thing. I just know it's never going to anywhere good. So like, stay the fuck away from it. I'm actually kind of glad that these guys, these online assholes, rate us. Did they rate you as fuckable, Nuke, or no?
Yeah, I was on. As well. I was on that. I don't know what I got. I don't really. I mean, who cares, right?
I only know because you guys fucking told
me. Who cares what these nerds are doing in their basement?
Yeah,
the point is, you don't want to have a guy making
I'm
into
too busy raising
suit.
my kids and having sex with my beautiful girlfriend who's 18 years younger than me.
Exactly, but none of us need a shrine with like a bunch of photos of us.
For that stuff.
Yeah, I went on
voodoo doll with our clothes on. Fuck that.
I went on Kyle's show with he has with Creatrix and the other guy, and I started trolling. And I asked him, hey, Date Psych, am I pretty enough for you? Like, yeah, and it's just because that's and I kept like that, and I'm like, dude, like, you know, you're supposed to be like some kind of researcher or whatever, like, and you're asking men to rate other men. Like, you're fucking yourself, dude. You're fucking yourself and your brand. No one's gonna take you seriously.
They always tell on themselves, Nuke. They always tell on themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
It's just like this is it's so dumb. Yeah, dude. Have fun. I'm gonna troll you because it's fucking hilarious to see. And then what's his name? Coldbug, who's like nobody in the space. I mean, he's a friend of ours, but he's nobody in the space. blocks him, and then he like retweets him and says, "Why are they running from me?" And I'm like, dude. No one's running from you. We're all laughing at you. You are the meme. You are the meme.
Yeah. It's the whole, but that's it. Like this guy, the celebrities, none of this stuff makes any sense. It's all goofy gossip. It feels good. It's like, oh my God, did you see this and that? And we're having fun and we're joking around, but it doesn't get John laid. You know what gets John laid? Fucking robots. Robot dogs. No, I'm joking. It's your charming personality.
Yeah, he's the funniest guy of Rule Zero, so that's why.
All the science, all the fame, all the glory, 6, 7, 8-pack abs. All that matters is a little bit of game and having some frame to hold your shit together.
Game and frame, man. Those are like you got to have the other stuff, but those are like the two most powerful.
That's where
If you-
the
you-
tires hit the road.
You
Is
lose,
your
you lose
game.
your frame, you got nothing.
Yeah.
And if you got no game, you're not getting anywhere.
You could be the number one. You could be the number one athlete of all time, Tom Brady, and your girl will still leave you if you don't have frame or you tell her, "Hey." And also, like a Jason Mamoa type divorce, like he has now, it seems pretty chill. Like if I were ever to get divorced, I want a divorce like this. It seems pretty.
Oh yeah, amicable.
Yeah, this is
That's
like the
problem
perfect
is
divorce.
You can't make
Yeah,
tweets
I just
on
looked it
amicable
up. He
divorces that
split.
everything
He
works
split up
out,
with
though.
her. He separated from her legally. 2 years later, she filed for divorce. It looks like she's 60 now.
Yeah. Now he's gonna go have sex with young women. Like, wow, it's the end of the world.
Oh my God, what a tragedy
Guys,
for him.
this is why you got to avoid marriage.
Yeah, I'm just like that's not like if I got married at his
It's not
age.
the one incels think it is.
Yeah, and I had kids, and my wife's like, "Hey, I don't want to be with you anymore." And I look at myself, and I'm a movie star, and I have like rock solid abs, and I'm like,
You
one of
got the
hot-
Bugatti.
yeah, and I got all this fame, and I live in a van. I don't get like at that point, I'm
Yeah,
just
he-
like,
He lives in
Okay.
a van outside his friend's house because he wants to stay close to the beach.
that's like the perfect.
That's kind of cool.
Like, all men want that
Yeah.
at some point. That sounds really good to me right now. I'd be like,
He just plays video games all day and like does some
acts.
acting, does some
Yeah.
surfing.
A little bit of working out.
Yeah.
Shoot.
What a
Dude, I love
horrible
it. I
life.
do love his quote where he's like, "I'm not working out unless they pay me to have abs." I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, I was looking
That's
to
cool,
do research. I came across a picture of him, and it was like in between shooting, and like he had little scrawny noodle arms, and I was like, this can't be
Oh,
him. I was like, this can't be the same guy. But
From
he's
when
like
he was around
putting on like
22.
30 pounds of muscle for a role. That's nuts. Hopefully he doesn't.
That's such a what's in it for
dice
me, though. I
them.
love that. Like, I prefer staying healthy and working out in that, but I love that. You want me to be hot for you? Fucking pay me.
Baby.
I don't know. It's got a very
he's probably red
I can
pill.
work
He's
with
got to
that.
be. He's probably read the books. He's definitely read something because he's so chill all the time.
And dude, you joke. I don't want to like name names, but there's
Well,
been
he's
at
also
least
had a
like
hard
half
life,
a
I
dozen
think.
celebrities DMing me on like, I love this stuff, I love your work, I love this, I love all this stuff. Don't want to touch this space with a 10-foot pole, and I don't blame them. But you'd be surprised who's out there listening to this stuff.
I've had a reach out or two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can only
My
imagine
old-
who's Rolo's got in his little black Epstein list. Oh, dude, that would be hilarious.
Rolo
It's like
log.
somebody releases the Rolo DM list of like all
Who's
the
made a
celebs.
trip out to Reno?
Yeah.
So who's gone to Sticky Paws?
The personal consultant list. It's a little black book. Who's hired
Yeah,
him for
yeah.
consultations?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
Orla was
God.
trying to get the former Prince a copy of the Rational Mail because of the. They
Oh,
Not
should
Andrew, I
divorce.
hope.
Yeah,
Harry? Actually, I hope he
Yeah.
gets it.
yeah.
My
He's
favorite
been
Harry,
trying.
not Andrew. Andrew's the one that was
Yeah.
diddling kids. You don't want him near you.
Harry.
Can we take a quick stop? We have 2 super chats I want to hit
Yeah.
up. Been sitting here for a little bit. This one's long-winded. I don't know if we can handle this. 400 INR. I'm not sure what those are. He says, "Hey guys, I own a business. My wife works with me, but right now is super jealous of one employee I hire. Now she threatened to fire her. She accusing me of cheating with her. She's creating so much drama. Any advice?"
Yeah, Ryan, you got this.
Yeah,
Lean into
I'll
it.
give you my advice, and Ryan, you
Yeah.
correct me, see if I'm wrong or not. All right, because you got more experience with this. But I think so. You're married to this woman, and is this woman you hired making you so much damn money that you can't do without her?
Where's that dread book?
You know, like if it's making your life that much of a hell, then I don't know. I would think about firing the chick, but at the same time, you gotta put your wife in her place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to tell
Well,
your wife to
yeah.
chill. Yeah,
Kind of. I'd agree with that for the most part. Because the first thing you always ask whenever your wife is shitting on you for something, you always have to have that internal monologue where you're like, does she have a point? And that's a good question. Is she a good employee, or is she a shed of tits that you like looking at? And this is a real question, and there's no wrong answer to it. I don't care what the answer is, but you have to. So if it's like, no, she's selling product, she's moving merch, she needs to be on here, then absolutely. But if it's, I'm going to make my wife jealous by hiring this titty blonde who she thinks I'm fucking, you're doing used car salesman shit, and it's not sustainable, and it will blow up in your face.
Yeah.
So I would say after you do that mental work, then does she have a point? If she does have a point, then yeah, maybe let her go. But no, if she's in there to work, don't placate your wife either. Because if she's like, are you cheating on me? And you assure her you're not, when a girl's mind, the first thing they're thinking of, why is he lying to me?
Mm-hmm.
She feels something, and you're telling her feelings are wrong, and that's the most dismissive thing you can do. Instead, just cocky funny, lean into it. Where were you today? I was just fucking Cindy again, but don't worry, I'm back. Lean into it, because and this is agree and amplify, and the whole reason for that is because you know you're not fucking her, I'm assuming. She doesn't know, or she kind of doesn't know what to believe. And so by showing her that you're being outwardly ridiculous about it, oh, we just did anal today. Wednesday's anal day. Sorry, honey, but I'll be back in time for dinner. It shows that this is so ridiculous that I'm going to poke fun at it. And then she starts to think, like, maybe I'm just being crazy. But at the same time, that sexual desire is still there. Like, dude, I think this chick wants him. And that works in your favor.
Probably
pre-selection.
Yeah. His wife's probably fucking the shit out of him right now. Probably. So, dude, if you're getting good sex, like if the sex is good and you're making money, just handle, like do what Ryan says, like
nothing's broken.
Sex is
Why fix it?
Yeah, exactly. She, I think this is a function of time too. Maybe over time, she's like, wait, I'm still here. He hasn't divorced me. We're still having sex and we're making money. Maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe just hang in there. I guess I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like everybody's treating it like, oh, she feels anxiety. She's mad, as if this is a problem that needs to be fixed. Girls feel. It's okay to feel things. She's allowed to be jealous. In fact, you kind of are glad because that means she's worried that somebody else does want you, which means you actually look good.
Yeah, you don't want to eliminate that anxiety. That's death. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, how can I make myself less fuckable? I got an idea. I will assure her that I will never do anything to make her feel anxious about losing me.
No, don't do that.
Good job, bud.
Yeah, attraction.
In the Matt Walsh school of never getting laid.
What was that?
Yeah.
The school of what?
I hope that helped. That was a good. That was a good.
Yeah, exactly.
Breakdown, guys. And then this is a $5 super chat. It says they are making a sequel to Gladiator with Denzel Washington. Which Gladiator? Gladiator, the Roman Gladiator, or the Gladiator, the bare knuckle like boxing one? Remember that one?
I'm going to say it's the Roman one because they're trying to replace every single white actor with a black actor or something.
Denzel's maybe he's skilled, but as long as they don't Walkerfy it or have Disney do it, maybe,
Yeah, that's my concern. They're just going to make a shitty movie. I don't care about blackifying.
Yeah, what it is and who's starring in it. It's like, I am excited about.
Made a great Star Wars. I'd have watched the shit out of that. But
Warner Brothers pairing up with Tom Cruise, and they're going to let him make a bunch of stuff without any strings attached. Like they're just gonna let him go. Top Gun 3. Really? They're in talks for Top Gun 3.
Is this the one
Jesus, no more sequels. Can we just get something new?
Yeah, that would be
there's very few things that are even serviceable as far as entertainment that's masculine out there at all. It's all really bad. I only ran across the Reacher series that's barely masculinely serviceable. I mean, only because he kills his enemies, whereas everybody else, well, no, I just shoot them in the knee and they're okay,
Terminal List was good.
Yeah, Terminal List.
I don't even care if it's masculine. I just want good.
Nobody was good.
Like, I'll settle for that. Thelma and Louise, awesome movie.
Yeah, nobody was good. It demonstrated the, when he stopped acting like a beta, what happened.
Well, it had a plot. It had a storyline. It had a character arc. Like this is just base. This isn't even about like masculine, good, women, bad. It's just basic professional competence. Yeah. Like if you guys seen this, it was floating around on TikTok. There was a guy, a pilot flying off and taking off in the tower. And the tower controller, Karen, is bitching about him. Like, you shouldn't have said this. You should do this. And he's like, I'm on the runway. He's like, no, I see you here. I Googled it. You're supposed to do this. He's like, I've been flying for 15 years. That's the shit that scares me. Yes. Like, yeah, they're making a shitty StarArs film. But that same type of Karen incompetence is in an aircraft tower. Telling the pilot.
In their DEI program.
Yeah, the door blew off the freaking plane.
Oh God!
and then Matt Walsh posted a video of the people who were responsible for the engineering of that plane. Yep. It was a group of women.
Not just that, it passed inspection. So two groups of people, they built it crappily, they designed it crappily, and then they passed it on inspection. That's a lot of failure points.
They were
movies are the least of my concerns right now.
Yep.
We call that in the Navy the cheese holes lining up because when you put yeah.
Oh, dude, that's that critical chain theory, that nuke stuff. Yeah, all the cheese holes and the Swiss cheese line up.
All the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, like every guy has had to deal with like an HR Karen kind of like boss or manager, and I think for me, what's helped me is just game. Just telling them, hey, you have nice hair today, or like what you do with your hair, or like, hey, I like that decision you made last week about this problem we had,
Dude, bring up your egg.
Yeah,
That was a good example of it. Rule Zero Dad pointed out the one you gave it the chick with her iPhone 3. He was like, that was a really good game, and nobody gave it credit.
Yeah, well, you always go with the whole you look good for your age, Nick, because she can't say, because if she says, what do you mean my age? It makes her look like she's fishing for compliments. But I gave her a compliment. I just didn't know that it was also an insult. So it's, it's the neg, your standard neg. But for the most part, female, especially in the military, oh man, you need to have your female bosses, you need to have them like here, or else they'll ruin your life. So I had to learn. I went from being yelled at by certain female bosses over the phone because I didn't answer the phone correctly. Like, hello, good morning. This is Nuke from this division. How can I help you? To I would go down to the plant and I'd tell them, hey, this is what we're doing today. And they're like, okay, Nuke, whatever you want. Just don't screw me over. And I'm like, I promise I won't screw you over. I have your back. And just that'll help guys so much. But they want to go to these jobs and into the infrastructure society and everything. And they want to apply this alpha masculine, I'm the boss kind of thing. I'm like, no, dude, you got to be charming everywhere. Like, there are days where you won't be charming all the time. You'll be annoyed, tired. But what does it cost you to have to game your female boss, your HR person, to bring them a cupcake once in a while, to bring them a coffee and tell them like, hey, you're working hard. Like, are you okay? Like, something's off with you. Even though there's nothing, because girls will just start talking. Like that will help your career so much more than just going, complaining about women in HR.
That's really insightful. And it's also really actionable because I've witnessed that in corporate America too. If you can give credit to some of these Karens that are out there, the HR types that are in those positions, honestly, it doesn't cost much for you. You may be the skilled one with the information. Don't hog that credit. Let them have it. Be only if they get external validation from it. They actually will express loyalty to you, and you can kind of insulate yourself. If you're willing to give them credit and they can get some validation from it outside of you, that's really insightful, Nuke.
And if you're an attractive guy, they'll do. Hey, do you need anything? No, ma'am, I just need you to sign this so I can do this maintenance or so I can go home for the day. Oh, I got you.
I've had them come back and say, hey, have you heard about this job? So you guys need to, you don't want to just always butt heads with that stuff. You want to be really strategic and actually be a pleasant person, even when you're not.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you're just at the bottom of the fuck pile. Like in court's a great example.
Yeah,
a lot of guys are like, I'd have told that judge. Like, no, you wouldn't. Did you see the guy who pulled a Sonic the Hedgehog on the fucking judge? He
jumped over they threw the book at him, man. Oh my goodness,
Brian. He should have listened to Riley Reid's advice.
Yeah. Well, no, there's divorce guys though. We had tons of stories from back in the day of guys who would warn the judge. Basically, like trying to cheat. My wife's a bitch. All this stuff that, like, the way you would talk with Andrew Tate, they're talking to the judge, and the judge is like, yeah, fuck this guy. It's like, no, man, the judge is the alpha male of that situation. And if you're not
can't alpha the state,
beta, you cannot.
There was that one guy though that killed the judge recently.
That's true.
Wasn't it his son or something, or his like something?
Oh no,
it was like family related. Right?
The wife had whatever. Cheated, divorced, and then she got the house or whatever, and then the guy went back and ended up killing the judge.
A divorce situation.
Yeah, and the same thing goes online with your behavior online. Like, yeah, we like to mess with girls, but like sometimes what messes with girls more is just telling them, hey, you win this argument. You win. Like, I see it your way. And they'll keep going. 3 more. And they'll keep going in 3 paragraphs. And now, like, I went from being a weird red pill guy to a girl saving my picture on her phone and putting it next to her husband and saying, like, why can't you just be like my husband? Like, and I'm just like, I literally said, hey, you win this argument. I'm sorry, I'm backing out. I see it your way. And then she just 3 more paragraphs. And like, that's how women are. Like, you have to be one step. Amuse mastery. It's all amuse mastery. Jason Mamoa, right? Amuse mastery.
Yeah. It sounds like she didn't want to win. She just wanted to be right.
Yep.
She just wanted to fight. She wanted the feelings from a fight.
Yeah. Her father or her husband didn't want to fight that day. So
yeah, that's a good point. Bringing it back to the Momoa thing, amuse mastery. Because I was looking for like the dirty skeletons, the dirty underwear, the whatever. But okay, so he hooked up with a girl who's much older than him. They had a pretty solid relationship, it seems like, for a while. They had 2 kids. They've got a good thing with those kids. Those kids aren't trans. They seem like they're normal, regular.
He's a cool dad.
Kids,
A happy dad is a a happy dad is the best dad you want. Is a happy dad.
He's content with his life, with living in a van by his friend's
He's red
house.
pill. He's doing his thing.
He seems like he's got some amused mastery going on. Things aren't going well with the marriage. Like they're amicably splitting up. It doesn't look like he's getting wrecked, financially. Like where's the really negative part of this? Like people, like are they looking for a revenge fantasy, or like what is it that people are upset about? Upset if he stayed with the older woman and then he's in his late 40s and she's in her 70s or whatever the hell. Like I don't know.
Nuke was just talking with those chicks. He's like,
well, that's not the way I would have done it. If I was him, I would have. No, you would have. He probably never would have been famous if you were him.
Yeah, and also, who's to say that Lisa Bonet didn't have like really good like blowjob skills or something? Like, just took care of him. Like, there's always that part. Like, a lot of guys don't understand. Like, why is this mid be able to get with this really millionaire Chad banker or whatever?
And Lisa Bonet is not a mid.
Sleepers.
Yeah,
she's not.
Yeah, exactly. Like every guy has had that like point in their life where they're like, man, why do I like this mid chick so much? And then you realize, oh, it's because of those skills, that she has a certain set of skills, and it's just like you considered wifing her up just because of those skills. I think every guy goes through that at some point.
Who'd have thought a girl that treats you like the prize is like a prize? Isn't that great?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But she doesn't look good. It's like, I don't care about the paint job on this car. It does the quarter mile in like 10 seconds, asshole.
Yeah, the old Honda, the old Honda Civic. Yeah, but yeah.
So I don't have any. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think it is. It's just like a fantasy people are playing in their own heads. Like, well, I wouldn't have hooked up with the older chick. Like he still got 2 kids out of it. The whole like, don't date single moms, don't mess with single moms. Like, take us seriously, not literally. Like when we tell you, don't date single moms. It's not that you shouldn't. It's just that you need to be careful and understand what you're getting into. I have multiple friends who dated single moms, but then they ended up getting married to them and having more kids. And they've got a bunch of kids with her after she already had kids. Like I don't see a problem with that. They're happy. They're in a good relationship. They have an active sex life. Their kids are normal and not weirdos and good people. Mm-hmm. So like there's no problem there. Like get off yourself. I think, was it you, Ryan, that had a tweet about like you're looking for 28 to 32-year-old kids that have none of these red flags or whatever. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like you're if you're gonna check all these boxes, she has to have all of these things or I'm out. I'm now you're the weirdo in the basement.
Yeah, it was like a giant list of contradictory things together, and it's like,
it was a good
find
tweet,
all this. Yeah. But no, the whole point is I argue with Clary on this. Sorry, I'll give it right back to you, Nuke, just quickly.
Oh, my bad, sorry.
Clary and I were arguing about this. They're like, yeah, don't get married. I'm like, no, that's never been the red pill thing. Don't get married is telling a guy what to do. And that's what happens when you end up with it's a stepmom and she's the greatest thing ever for me. Well, now red pill is wrong. It's like, no, it's like single moms and marriage are a bad deal for men. That's a different statement.
That's it.
Statistically it is. You found an outlier and you're happy. Awesome. Doesn't matter. That end of the tail doesn't disprove the middle of the bell curve, Anyways, yeah, Nuke, I'll stop cutting you off.
Oh no, it's fine. I cut you off. What I was gonna say too, like the whole the reality calculator that I posted in the Creatrix, I think she took it kind of personally, and then she said, "Hey guys, can you guys put in your thing so I know how much of an asshole you guys are?" The thing is that like I put in like my things, and I just put in like $40,000 for women because I want a girl to have a job, not like just do nothing all day. Right. At least if she's not taking care of toddlers. But I didn't get a lot of women, right? But I understand. To me, I live in a city of like a metro of like 20 million people, and I'm pretty sure that like you can't really quantify human interaction, even though Date Psych wants to. But I think what it comes down to, everyone's trying to quantify this and put it in science and charts and outcomes. That's why the Jason Mamoa thing, everyone gets on it. Like, if Jason Mamoa can't, he's this height and he has this kind of beard and he has tattoos and he's like this country and he can't do it, then I can. I'm like, no, dude, it's much more. It's not that human interaction is not quantifiable like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of binary thinking in this space.
Yeah, it's just like you can't go by a scientific. Like, obviously, you need to get jacked, but there's so many reasons to get jacked besides you want to get your pee touched, right? You want a longer life, you want to be healthy, you want to do better at your
Higher
work, you want to get
quality life.
hired more. Yeah,
You want your kids look up to you.
yeah. There's so many. There's like hundreds of reasons to get jacked. But we're trying to do this thing now where a lot of the academics are getting into this manosphere bullshit. And trying to say like, hey, like I saw an interaction between the OnlyFans chick with Google, the lawyer, and Rolo and Mike. And Rolo and Mike are smart guys. And then she's arguing like, hey, if you're 28 through 32 and you have this amount of money and you're the propensity of you getting with someone your own age is this. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, how do you can't like when you're in front of a girl on a date and she's laughing, giggling, she has her hand on your hand and she has like
spreadsheet.
Her boobs. Yeah, her boobs are out and they're all veiny and sweaty. And you're just like, Jesus Christ. You're not like thinking about like, okay, so she's 28. What are the chances tonight that if I say that my salary is this, that she'll go home with no? Like, no one thinks like that, and it's not useful. And that's the biggest disconnect. Is it useful? Does this stuff help anyone? No, it doesn't, because you can't quantify human relationships that well. You can only quantify the outcomes of people being stupid or chance. That it doesn't help anyone.
I would just laugh. You show up to a date with a fucking pie chart.
Yeah, like a fucking whiteboard, and be like, this study says, the GSS study says I have a 1 in 3. I haven't been late in a year, so you should lay with me because I am not the bottom 40% of men or something.
Yeah, here's all the
that's
reasons you
sir,
should
drop
fuck
your
me. Look at my
pants.
charts.
Yeah, that's how they think. That's how incels, black pills, and people that hate the red pill think. That's exactly how they think. They think,
Dude,
if I do this, then I get this. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
And did you ever read the red pill thing on Spreadsheet Man? Because this is not new. Oh, dude. You guys have missed out. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it was a guy.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a dead bedroom, and the idea was every time his wife would shoot him down for sex, he would write down the date, and write the reason.
Oh yeah.
And then I guess one day she was going on some business trip, and she shot him down again, and he emailed her this list with like a "fuck you" or "fuck me," and then the girl goes on to Reddit to bitch about it. She's like, "Can you believe it? This guy sent me this," and everybody's getting mad at him. We were laughing because, like, first off, the reasons Friends was on.
Yeah.
Not a new episode. Like, it wasn't new. It was like, on Netflix. We're watching Friends that day, so I can't. And everybody's like, you realize this isn't a guy who's pissed off. It sounds like a pure, like, desperate Hail Mary play to let you know he's, like, frustrated. And that's been, like, the meme for, like, a decade now. It's like, don't ever be a spreadsheet man, be Skittles man. Because then Royce had his Skittles man where, like, the guy was completely, like, ambivalent towards her needs, and like the only gift she's ever gotten from him was a pack of Skittles, and she couldn't stop.
That's not me,
about
John. That's if you guys can block that guy, I think that's Billy. He's been in the chat.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was
Ryan.
me earlier. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
you.
Billy. Sorry to cut you off, Ryan.
Oh,
Imposter.
well, that's it. That's it. I just wanted to bitch about how awesome Skittles man was.
Skittles man.
Yeah, and like I said, you have to be the man in the arena when it comes to this dating red pill stuff. Like, you can't sit on a podcast with your goatee and be like, it's not so bad or it is that bad because based on this number that these amount of people aren't fucking.
Get outside.
No, dude, go outside and talk to just compliment somebody.
That's what we should.
An old lady.
That's the thing going on. They say you go outside, touch grass. For red pill, go outside, touch ass.
Exactly.
I like that.
Go outside, touch ass.
Yeah, and like that's what Jason Mamoa's doing. That's probably the same. Like, he got his divorce, but he's like, look at his lifestyle. I'm just like, every guy looks at Jason Mamoa's lifestyle and would want that seems pretty chill. Like, I have kids, but I can park my house outside of my friend's house and surf and act in movies. He's probably banged Amber Heard twice and is laughing at Johnny Depp right now.
Never shit in his bed. Just saying.
No, his kids probably love him. Lisa Bonet probably still, sees him on the side and like, hey, you want to do something this weekend? I know we're divorced, but like, he's living the life that a lot of guys want to live if they were their own point of origin. And I see nothing wrong with this divorce, but it all comes down to like, are you going to live life by charts and numbers, or are you going to go out there and are willing to be the man in the arena, get beat up and punched and have the whole world laugh at you, but deep down
sometimes you gotta get punched in the face.
Yeah, it's like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So
yeah. Statistics.
And
I still laugh.
There needs to be more to that, because after that, it's not just like it's a free for all. After you get punched, everybody has a plan until he gets punched in the face, but you always fall back on your training.
Yeah.
You always fall back in your training. So if you have no training, you have no experience, like you're in
Oh
trouble.
yeah, the meaningless sex guys. You're right. Yeah, the guy. I'm saving myself for meaningful sex. It's like, bro, that girl's gonna run roughshod of you. I'm building my fortune and then I'll meet a girl, dude. She will eat your lunch.
Yeah.
You better get used to fucking girls with a mattress on the floor and a milk crate for furniture, because at that point you at least know when a girl wants you, not for
Yes.
your stuff. Unless it's a really
Yeah.
nice milk crate, maybe. I don't know. With this economy, who
Yep.
knows what's valuable anymore?
And you just got a crusty mattress on the floor, and they're still want to hang out. They want to sit on your crusty mattress and watch TV on your 19-inch screen.
And the funniest thing, sorry, Ryan. The funniest thing is too is like the outrage stuff. It only works on guys with no experience, right? Because if you see like a street interview with this guy from Miami where he's interviewing some chick, the chick's like, I need $150,000 and I need a 20K engagement ring. Any guy with experience knows, no, she's banged a guy.
She's got a body count of 20. She's making these demands, but she's already like, so she slept with 20 guys that didn't have any of those things. What the hell are you talking about? Quit getting all your panties in a bunch, guys.
Yeah, and that's like it's what the book Dataclysm calls superficial pre-selection, where they took the data from women demanding stuff on dating apps and who they would actually respond to, and it didn't correlate at all. It didn't correlate. Like women say they want a certain type of man. That's just so their girlfriends can feel like they're valuable and they and their followers now that because everything's online. But in reality, like you'll find yourself if you really get out there, you'll find yourself on a date with rich girls. You'll find yourself on a date with girls that you never thought would be into you, or girls that look like they wouldn't be into you because simply you understand women and you're just living in reality. You're not quantifying everything in charts. And like your North Star of dating isn't like a podcast. It's like yourself. It's your experience. You use the books to like kind of like guide you and stuff, but it's you. You're the man in the arena. That's it. No one can tell you what to do. You have to be the one to be like, I'm doing this. And guess what? Just like when you go to get cheesecake at a store, everyone thinks, hey, that guy's going to get cheesecake for a work party or for a birthday. But no, you're going to eat it all for yourself. No one cares. No one asks you, hey, what are you getting that cheesecake for? They all assume it's for something wholesome. So same thing. No one really cares. Go out there,
shove it
get
in my
punched.
ass.
Yeah. be Jason Mamoa, get divorced, have fun, be jacked, smash young girls, have a mid-movie career, and you'll be fine. You know?
Let's hit some super chats. I got some super chats here. Unrealized Thought says, when do red pill women turn on the red pill? A breakup? Not exactly sure what he's talking about. He's talking about like Pearl and all the other girls who read Rolo's books and then regurgitate them like they know something.
They're just looking for husbands.
Usually it's when Rolo doesn't give them a platform or ignores them.
They're pick-me's or they're just trying to make money. They're hustlers, grifters.
I wouldn't trust an influencer. Have you guys seen influencers? I wouldn't trust them.
Most women are intrinsically red-pilled anyway.
It's true. They've seen it. They've experienced it since a very young age. They understand, even if they can't verbalize it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Next, Sam Whiskey says every man should watch the movie Danger Diabolic before it gets banned. I don't know if this is just somebody paying to advertise their movie, but I've never heard of Danger Diabolic before. Sounds maybe like an anime.
Did he mean Diana Ball?
Next, Dark Knight Dav says, I've seen plenty of relationships where the men were the attractive one and the girl was mid, but she outperformed all the 10s with enthusiasm.
Yeah, enthusiasm.
How does she treat you? Is she enthusiastic? Does she treat you well? Those are the things that really, how do you feel about her and how does she make you feel? Those are the things that really matter.
That's a lot of useful value.
Yeah. Like, you want the Honda that'll win the 500 or the lap, or do you want the Lamborghini that'll not win but looks cool,
Or the Lambo that gets stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
I don't want something I can't drive through the mud. Sorry. I don't care how cool it
Plus,
was.
people get older. Guys age much better than women do. Like Brad Pitt, what is he, 57 or something like that? Still looks really good.
Right.
There's not many Meryl Streeps out there that look good at that same age.
No.
So if you got a great woman, you've been around for like 20, 30 years, yeah, you're probably going to look better than your wife at some point.
No Stop Dre says Couch is so alpha that 9s and 10s,
Bro.
Victoria's Secret's angels, supermodel have orgasms just by thinking of him. Nothing
This fucking
excites
guy,
Llama
man.
more than data and graphs.
This fucking guy's
Yeah.
been doing Chuck Norris jokes with me for like the last month now.
Non-stop Dre.
Oh, that's funny.
He's the only guy that rated you a 7 on that survey, on that fuckability survey. Jesus Christ, that's so cringe. Fucking A.
These people. The internet's so exhausting sometimes. Like, it's a cool.
Brian from whatever podcast won.
Wow, the guy that that yells at the Whammon one. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
Although it's
yeah,
also
I
the
think,
podcast
I think
that
we had
Buddy
a really
wants on.
great
It's almost
show.
like he's faking
and
the data to get a show.
Yeah.
I think
Brian,
we had a
you're
great
gorgeous.
show.
Can I come
And this was a very informative show, I believe. Oh, here's another super chat. No Stop Dre again says, I only take meaningful breaths and hold breath. Another super chat popped up. Sam Whiskey said most men need to read a hostage negotiation training manual to understand women.
Next book, Hostage Negotiation.
Situation, volume 3 of Red Pill Praxeology. Yeah, we covered some good stuff in this show, and I think it was very informative. I think probably no one will watch it because there's not enough red meat. We didn't call Jason Mamoa a dumbass for marrying an old lady. We didn't say his life was ruined because an old lady stole money from him. Like, he did all fine. He's fine. He's okay. Like, I don't really see too many other problems with it. It's I feel sad for them that they have problems or they're that they're going through something. I feel sad for the kids that the kids are going to have to be transferred from different homes. But hopefully everything is working out for them because I don't really see any huge red flags here. It doesn't seem like she was like an evil person who was scheming. I'm going to get this young guy and make him get me pregnant, and then I'm going to take all his money. Yeah, I don't see any of that type of shit from her. This wasn't some like evil, devious plan that the older woman took advantage of the poor young actor. I don't see that. I don't see massive amounts of like cheating or whatever. It doesn't seem like that's going on either. So I don't know, man. Like, guys, stop taking shit so seriously sometimes. Get out and have experience. Just go out and talk to a girl. Talk to the cash register as you're checking out. Say, hey, nice day. Did you have a good holiday season? It's not that hard. Just get some practice, get some reps.
Mm-hmm. Go to the same coffee shop 5 times and people will start remembering you and you'll start remembering them and you'll start connecting with people. It's just, we're all humans. We desperately want to connect with people. It's who we are.
Yeah. If you can go to a bar enough, the bouncers start to learn your name and the bartenders like you and you're a good tipper when you go during the off times. Oh, it pays off so much.
They'll give you free drinks when you have a date. Yeah.
And they'll introduce you to other people.
Yep.
After parties.
Like I had those when I lived downtown San Jose, there was one bar I went to. They had a decent whiskey selection. They had a whole separate book of whiskeys to choose from. So I could go and I could try a different whiskey. And one of the bartenders actually was into whiskeys too. So like I made kind of friends with that guy. And then guess what? Anybody else who had liked whiskeys a little bit would come by. Anytime there was people around who couldn't decide on what they were drinking. Maybe I was close to them. I'd be like, hey, you guys like whiskey? I could chat them up real easy. And the bartender would come over and then I got social proof because the bartender's talking with me. And now I'm in this group. I got a clique of 4 people that I've never met before are okay with me because the bartender knows me and everything's cool. And now I had a fun conversation with some people. And then that group of people who's having fun and talking draws in some other people. Now we got a group of 10 people that I've never met before. And everybody's talking, having a good time, have a good night. Whether or not that even translates into sex or a phone number or anything, who cares? I had a fun night and I talked to cool people. Maybe it led to something, maybe it doesn't. But at least I wasn't just sitting on my freaking computer, like being angry at graphs and charts.
Yeah, how fuckable is Ryan? I'm not going out today, but I'm going to rate how fuckable Ryan is. Click, click, click. that's my life on a Friday instead of
instead of going around like just meeting and talking to people.
Yeah. the years you spent being mad and wanting revenge fantasies, you'll never get back. And here's the cool thing: once you start touching grass and you meet people, you're gonna meet divorced people, right? You're going on a date with a divorced woman. You're gonna notice that like it's never a good scenario, you know. Like obviously the Jason Mamoa thing, it looks like from our perspective that it's pretty chill, you know, compared to what we've seen. You don't. My best friend was divorced, and I had to like. He handled it really well, but still, you know, everyone has a friend or a friend of a friend that's gone through this stuff, and you realize like I don't wish this on anybody, not even my worst enemies. This sucks, you know. Like I don't want people to suffer. Obviously, it's probably because of their own doing a lot of the times, but I don't want anyone to suffer and go through anything.
It's your fault.
That like yeah, but I can't help you. You know, it's you gotta pull through. But yeah, not every divorce is something that should be like. Most guys, you like Aaron said, you probably won't be happy in marriage at this point if you get married now. But that's okay. Like in a vacuum, if you don't know any red pill stuff or intersexual dynamics, or you're just an average guy, you most likely won't be happy in marriage. That's okay. But realize that marriage is not the end goal of life. As a guy, you have other things you can do, and I think Jason Momoa is a good example of that. Like he just, Aquaman flopped, but he is Aquaman, right? You know. He is a cool guy. People like him. The girls like him. He's on magazines, hottest guy alive magazines, I guess. Money. Yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money. He gets to live in his friend's garage or driveway. You know, like that to me, it stood out the most. Like I want to live in my best friend's driveway and just fucking chill.
Isn't that funny? Like, in the 90s, like we had made fun of Chris Farley for doing that character, saying living in a van down by the river, and now that's like. That's what people want.
Now that sounds pretty nice.
Now it's like, hey, you know what? Nice. That sounds actually pretty decent. I can pick up and move and leave if I need to. Have to deal with the neighbors. Yeah. If the neighborhood goes to shit, I can just change to a new neighborhood.
Yeah. And like you can't live life being afraid to get married, and you can't live life being afraid to be divorced. You know, you just have to choose your lane, stick with it, and then make decisions. No one cares. If you get divorced, no one really cares, you know. It's just another part of your life. It sucks. Hopefully you have the resources to help you. That's it.
Well said.
Yes. All right. So let's wrap it up here. All right. Thor, what do you got going on?
Hey, in about a half an hour, come check us out on the Dragon Ship. Me and Nuke, a couple other guys going to jump in. We got some dragons coming from the Dragons membership. We're going to talk about 2024, the year of fear, and why all the fear is going to get ramped up this year. And don't get wrapped up yourself, because it's pretty pointless, and it's just going to expend all of your emotional energy and drag you down into the dirt. So let's talk about that. Dropped a link to a free audio chapter of my book into the chat. Check it out. Till next time. Thanks, guys.
Nuke.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, guys. Sorry I was long-winded today. I just had a lot on my mind. So you guys can find me. I put my link tree in the chat. Usually I'm on Twitter, just causing trouble and all that stuff. And then shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm about to be on Catch Us on the Dragons. It's a great show. It's really fun. And then tomorrow I'll be on Post Zero, where we're like Rule Zero's annoying younger brother, and we just kind of banter, but also bring up red pill topics too. So that's where you guys can find me. So thank you.
Alrighty, Ryan.
I'm done that fucking audiobook. I'm doing the mastering right now. It's going to be out end of month, hopefully. If I ever write another book again, I'm never doing it again. Fuck it. It's like I'm never drinking again, and I know 3 weeks later I'll be doing it again. So, anyways, it'll be out end of the month. All things considered.
Did you narrate it yourself?
Enjoy it. I did.
Yeah,
I
it's
prefer
tough.
it that way. I don't like when people have like other readers. Like I'm not judging, but for me, I like the idea that the author kind of knows it better, and so that's just how I prefer it. So
Me too.
Yeah, whatever. But having said that, Sam Bada and you have done some good work, so I don't want to talk to you guys as if like you guys are just subpar. Like not at all.
All right, and yeah, I have John Fish Knows Nothing coming up tomorrow night. There's some fights today. There's a UFC, and then I've got one of my online students, Pretty Boy Gloy, is actually fighting tonight. He's got a link to his fights, so you can catch that. There's a pay-per-view. I think that's pretty interesting how easily it is for smaller shows and venues to put on pay-per-views and stuff together. So you guys can support that promotion, support my guy, and give it a watch. Watch some violence tonight. I'll be watching UFC, and we'll be talking about all the fights tomorrow, and it's going to be good. if you're interested in learning my Fitch SMASH system, hit me up, DMs, email, whatever, and we'll get you going. We'll get you going. I'm in the beta stages of that right now. So it's a lower price than what it's going to be when it's finished. So reach out if you're interested. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on the show, everybody. This was a lot of fun. I think we learned a lot, and I hope we taught a lot. And we'll check everyone